All right, the S&P 500, the Nasdaq 100, we have to make this pretty quick. I gotta get out of here. But as we can see, we're pushing back into major levels. Now, there's two levels we're watching here in the S&P, specifically the SPY, right? Zoom in, you have this top around basically 473 flat, 473 to 20, right? Right there. And then after that, you're pushing into like the last zone around 476 into 479. Boom. And that's ultimately where we're at. Now, again, I want to talk a little bit on the little bit of rejection on the day and why I'm kind of loving it so far. So far, as you can see, we're kind of rejecting off. But of course, you're getting that type of bull flag action pushing up at the end of the day. Now, we go over to Qs and we get a better viewpoint here. And I want to use Qs and, instead of Nasdaq today, just to give you guys a better feel of understanding where we're at and how we're moving, okay? So again, you have two levels here. Move that level right here around 408.8. But like you're sitting right here again at the 404.5. You zoom in, we'll go to the 2 hour, get an idea. You start rejecting at that level. You have one break above, reject here again, push back down. So you definitely can see why this level is important, why you should be watching it, and ultimately why this is the level you want to break and mount above in order to get that all-time high push. And that's where you're at right now. That is how we're maneuvering, right? So these are things that we need to be taking into account as we're looking. Now, it's important to look at a few things. So today, you saw some stronger selling, right? I want to highlight this, right? We zoom in, we look at this candle, let's get rid of that. So you can see this is a daily chart. You can see stronger selling, right? Very, very strong. But it's just not followed through, and buyers push you right back up, mounting yesterday's level. This is good. This is a great candle in my opinion with how we're performing here. So again, we have to just take a visual there. Now we go into DIA. What happened here? Again, you have another all-time high close, giving you a visual. This is the daily on the DIA, the Dow. The Dow just keeps running higher and higher, very strong. Definitely good signs of continuation. You go into IWM, you get the 200 push here on IWM. You're rejecting so far, giving you a visual here as well. The Russell, the risk on ETF or index, if you want to consider it that, right? Top line here is going to be around 203 flat, chart prime charting that out for us. So again, these are the major levels what we're watching in the market, and we're right there at that breakout point. I'm going to tell you what I'm expecting and stocks that I'm looking at in particular. Now, before we go into that, I ask you to do two things. Consider liking and subscribing. Helps out tons. I appreciate all of the support. If you're interested in the indicators that are on the screen and what we're using every single day here for the indicators that might help you, Chart Prime, the link is down below, so make sure you check them out. No Discord spots available right now, but let's get into it. Now, few things before we go too much into equities. I've been saying the number one things you want to be watching for continuation here. Let me pull up the 200 SMA so you can see it there. Is the DXY. Now, DXY we mentioned yesterday. This is where you ended the day. Obviously, today, more sell side pushing into lower levels. You came right into our next target right there, as you can see. This was all mentioned yesterday as well. This is a sign of continuation and why risk on continues to be the play. You go into yields, a 30-year, continuing, breaking the 200 and falling down deeper. And again, we knew once we broke the 2022 highs, this could start moving quick, and it is moving quick indeed. The 10 and the 30-year dropping fast. The inversion on the 1030 isn't moving that much, but that's just because they're moving in tandem down to the downside. So overall, good news. The 5 and the 2-year equally dropping aggressively. Those already broke the 2022 highs way back when, but you're still breaking down. These are all good notes. Had a little bit of upside on oil here on the day, but again, oil is coming back down to that major level around 66. So again, you kind of expect to get a little bit choppier here in this range. So that's what we're looking at there. Okay, I do want to cover Bitcoin just because I know you guys have questions on Coinbase and things. If you're looking at Coinbase, just chart Bitcoin. It's like trading an oil stock. You're not going to, if you're trading oil companies, then you want to watch what the crude and the barrel are doing. Same thing on crypto and Coinbase. You want to watch what Bitcoin's doing. I think it's a really good chart. I think, honestly, you're going to push into 48, 47K. Keep it on your watch list there. Now, let's go over equities. Again, I said I got to be quick, and I think I'm being quick here, right? This is like me and Ali on our, I don't want to say what date number it was, but it wasn't a long experience for your boy, right? So when we jump in here, let's talk about a few things, okay? Number one, we have AMD ripping the highs, push to 140. Awesome, great move there. You have, AVGO. These are some of the big names we've been talking about so far. These are just run. Now, LRCX, I talked a lot about this one over the past few days, and you finally had your big run here. You more 730 into basically 770, and I think more room could potentially be taken here, closer to 800, but we'll talk about that later. You kind of missed the boat here if you haven't traded LRCX, but I do recommend, if you aren't following, follow us on Twitter, guys. I'm telling you, a lot of these charts are there, if you missed the videos, but you can see all these charts, right? Me trolling, me being sarcastic, but most of all, me providing the value, right? And off of some of these plays, I'm trying to go over this more on TikTok, like I said, but this is a 3K account, almost at 7K, so, We've been doing something right. Okay, so a few things I want to talk about. Amazon. Everyone's going to be asking about Amazon. What's happening here? You got the breakout. You pushed up. You came back down, retesting the 147, bouncing off this. Now, Amazon's in XLY. We've talked a lot about consumer discretionary. What's happening there? Okay. Now, I think Tesla is very interesting here. Tesla, trying to break out of the downtrend. I think if Tesla starts to run and breaks out of this above 252, like we mentioned a lot, you mount 252, I believe Amazon will run with it, just XLY as a whole. It can give it a lot of momentum, and I do have a lot of favor with that sector and what's happening there. So again, Amazon slow. I have June contracts, but that's what I'm looking at there. Next up, Netflix. Netflix is literally one of my favorite plays in the market. Yeah, the end, right? So you're basically coming into this level right here around 480. If you go to the daily, you can really see this level, right? You can see on Chart Prime showing you where sellers are stepping in right there. This goes back here as well, right? So if I was to extend this, just so you could see, right? You can see it extends all the way right there. It was like your swing lows that you had back in 2020 through 2021 when you operated in the box of basically, 480 and the highs of 580, back and forth, back and forth. So I'm looking at this. If we get above 480, we start pushing into 500. I'm telling you, volatility will kick in on Netflix, but it's a battle at 480. You're trying to get that love. You're trying to get that push. So far, we're on a $30 push from 450 into 480. But again, I still think more will come here. Still a very exciting name. I think you have to be watching Netflix very closely. Actually, I'm kind of in love with the name. Microsoft, probably, again, I like to be transparent with you guys. This is one name that I've been wrong on so far. Right now, granted, you're holding support and you're getting a buying opportunity at 365, but you're just not getting the response that you want to see here, right? Yeah. So ideally, you'd like to see you bounce and then break off this level. Like in a perfect world, that's what we're looking for, right? But you're not really getting that. We're kind of just ranging here. You get above 373. We kind of just are just going back and forth, and we kind of hate that action. That's where you lose a lot of money. I still think for the swing side of this, risk to reward wise, it makes logical sense going long around 365, targeting previous highs, or even targeting to high of this range of 377. Logically, it all makes sense. What stops right below local lows here. Again, the risk to reward makes logical sense. I like it. Still think Microsoft is going to run. Just getting really weird action here. NVIDIA becoming one of my favorite names once again. I believe NVIDIA wants to mount 485. You're already seeing the clear-cut mount of 476, which is a major level. You get above 494, and I think it's like a launch pad into all-time highs. But I think NVIDIA just wants to go. I've been very bullish on it. It's taking some time, definitely ranging here. Very, very big bull for myself on this name. I like what they're doing. I think AVGO, AMD, LRCX, it's lining up again for NVIDIA, in my opinion. Now, today at Costco earnings, and I think their earnings missed, actually, but they're still up here in the after hours based on their special dividend, I believe. Now, Target's a name I've been mentioning. Target. Okay. Key level mentioned from a few days ago. You can go look at the video and go look at the Twitter. It's all posted there for you. So, yeah, I don't know what else to say. Yeah, you can just go look. It's somewhere on Twitter. You can go check. Okay. Very easy chart to look at. Now, a few things we're looking at. You have the key level right here, 135.5. You're mounting above the and the 200 SMA, the yellow line. Now, what is most interesting is this right here. Basically, the illiquidity from essentially 150 down to around that 136, 135 level. This whole area is illiquid, right? Very easy to cut through it like a butter, okay? And that's what we're looking for. Think about it like Upstart. We talked about Upstart above, 38.5. You're going to move easily. And you move very, very, very easily here, okay? Think about it the same way with Target. That's what I'm looking for here. You're getting good movement. So far, $6 off that level. You're moving very great. Giving you an idea, the 150s right here. So if you got 150 options for January 19th of this coming month, yesterday at lows at 135, you could have got 150 call options January 19th for around 35 cents. Today at highs, they were at roughly, I believe, 135. If you bought today at around 139, 138, you go back, when did I get those? When did I talk about those? I believe I got them right here. I want to say 139, right? Early on in the day, 140, give or take, right? They went from $1 into $1.30. So they're still moving great. They're still moving fast, and the contracts, makes sense to me. So that's what we want to see continue upside. Costco, you're hoping you can get some love, get some favor in there as well. But you're pretty much waiting till tomorrow because the liquidity here, again, like I said, is minimal. Begin upside into 149. That's what we're looking for there. I've gone a lot into detail about names I'm liking. I'm trying to find more opportunities for you guys, but obviously Discord, you will know first about those opportunities. The last one that I'm going to mention is going to be Snow. I've been talking about this one for a while. You're mounting above key levels, and now you're trying to push back up. If you mount above this level, and which it looks like you're going to do so, I think you have a lot of upside room. 240 in the long grand scheme of things. Shorter term back into 222. That's where I'd be looking there. Another great name in cloud is Datadog. You are mounting above 119. This is a monster level as well. You have a lot of upside room here as well. 131 would be the first target here. But that's what I'm gonna leave you with today. Short, simple video. Hope you got some out of this. Have a good one, trader.